Morning brothers, how you going? Let me show you something. A dream is about to come true. Well, actually it's going to come true in autumn. Check it out, check it out. Logs. Lots of logs. 9 ton to be exact. Because every man wants to build a log cabin. So we're going to dry those out over summer. And hopefully my mate Shane's going to help me. We're going to construct a log cabin in the bush, in the native bush, somewhere around here, which is going to be cool. Another place for a young fella that needs a place to stay, but maybe this old fella might stay in there because I've always wanted some cabin time. So that's a project which I'll be showing on the Clay Tool Stories channel. What else this morning, brothers? Well, I'm a bit disappointed. Let me show you what I've got down here. First of all, before I show you, research clearly shows that people that live till over 100 and live healthy lives with a lot of, whether they drink or smoke and do all this stupid shit, one thing they all share in common, it's called the blue zone. Like in Japan, there's the blue zone at some islands where everybody's over 100 and still doing very well. What do they all share in common? They all have a natural probiotic in their food. That would be like kimchi or sauerkraut or kefir or fermented, anything fermented. And they have a prebiotic as well. So the probiotic and the prebiotic. The prebiotic is what feeds the probiotic. That would be something like walnuts, pecan nuts, onions, garlic, all that stuff. So for a long time, old Clay's been buying this. And as you can see in my drawer down here, this is just some of what I've got. Sauerkraut. Trouble is, you probably can't see that there. Where is it on the side? I'll take my word for it. I'm not going to be able to show it. I don't think you'll see this. You might see it, but I don't think you will. It says there, pasteurise. Pasteurise. And pasteurise is no good because you want to have all the natural good probiotics, and when it's pasteurised, it knocks it out. So for a long time, I did that because I figured it was cheaper for $5. This is from Poland. $5 to actually buy it than to make it using my own cabbages. And I got that tip from my daughter, but she didn't realise it's pasteurised either. So that there's just going to go into stir fries and stuff with no real nutritional value to the gut. That's the best thing you can do is have a bit of sauerkraut that's made naturally, because what it does is, we'll turn that light off before I go, what it does is it helps your whole body find its balance. Very, very healthy for your immune system, particularly in these times. Right now we need a strong immune system. Kick into my day, and what I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about something which people should keep away from on your channel. Well, I certainly wouldn't talk about it on my other channel, but this one here, we want to engage in healthy conversation, and we want to try to problem solve for ourselves, particularly regarding COVID, how to best get through it. And I'll tell you my spin on the whole thing right now, and this will not be everybody's spin, it's just mine, and it's only my views, not necessarily correct. Disclaimer. This is about COVID and vaccines. My feel is this. Hello, Bigsy, you're getting your walk in a minute. Vaccines save lives. Vaccines also have, in rare occasions, adverse effects. Our government and our medical profession are not giving us the numbers on those rare adverse effects. We do know that pericarditis and myocarditis, can't say that, carditis, where it affects the heart, is actually quite something that needs to be looked at more. And they do say that in the government site. They say there's a rare, in rare cases, but what they don't give us is they don't give us the numbers. So as parents, we can make a informed decision. I'm lumping because I got something sharp in my boot. So my daughter's had her first vaccine and she's fine. And my son was telling me his mate had it, and he ended up with real bad chest pain. He felt like he pulled a muscle inside his chest. Went to his doctor, and his doctor said, "I just rest up for a few days and take it easy." Well, that was straight after his vaccine. So there's not a lot around that. I lost one of my associates, a musician in Auckland, a very good percussionist, and I won't say his name because talking about, I see when they put it in the paper they only had his first name, never his last name, but he was pretty well known. He played in some quite big bands in New Zealand in the 80s, and he was in his 50s, didn't drink, didn't smoke. He got COVID, he went to self-isolate, and sadly, tragically, he couldn't breathe properly, and the ambulance came and he was dead when they got there. And he had not had the vaccine. Would have the vaccine saved his life? Probably. Statistically, people that have had it do better. And that you can find conflicting stuff on that, but I think overall the people know that the vaccines do actually save lives. So the bottom line is that vaccines overall they save lives with COVID, but there are cases, and they talk about rare cases of people having adverse effects. A lot of people have effects, but that's because the thing's working in you. So that's my spin on that there. I'm definitely wanting to see a lot more numbers, because when they say on rare occasions there's an adverse effect, as a parent I want to know before my son has his vaccine or my daughter has the second one, what are the stats? And I guess they would argue, well, it's too early for us to know. Well, in that case, it makes it a bit of an experiment in my mind. Anyway, we're in the South Island here, and apparently the killer bees came in here with their bikes, and I only heard the second hand, so I don't know if it's true or not. They're a gang, and one of them, or some of them, had the virus, so maybe it's in the South Island now, I don't really know. Out here in the country, we sort of don't think it's around us, because we're so isolated anyway. Also, what I think is interesting is that soon, when they open everything up, it'll only be opened up to the vaccinated, so all the concerts and the sports events and everything, it'll be only the vaccinated going along to those events. And I guess because it doesn't stop the transmission of it, it slows it down, but a lot of the vaccinated will be the ones that actually got it, and hopefully the vaccine will give them enough protection to get through it where they don't have adverse effects and end up in hospital sick. That's, to my understanding, the whole reason for the vaccine. To stop you getting crook. Fuck, look at those logs. It's going to be an awesome cabin, isn't it? Oh yeah, just my thoughts on the vaccine. What are your thoughts? Do you think we have a right to know the numbers? By now they must have the numbers on adverse effects. And what are, because I just don't know. And I'm pretty sure that for the few people that have serious adverse effects, for the amount of lives it saves, it's way off the scale. But I still think it's worth mentioning. I think it's something that we need to discuss and be open about. And the reason we don't get numbers from the government on adverse effects, they say in rare cases, that causes a mistrust. Because it's like, you're not telling us something, why aren't you telling it to us? Are they not telling us because they just don't know? Or are they not telling us so we don't get scared the shit out of it and don't take the vaccine? It's like, a few young people can have this serious heart condition or even die of it, but it'll save the masses, because it seems to only be young people that are really affected by that adversely. Although I've also heard of older people too, but just don't know. Give us your thoughts. This is the Bro Check channel, so we're checking on brothers, and this is checking on something which is floating around in my mind, and I'm saying it openly to see whether it's affecting you, or if you've given any thought at all, or you just don't give a fuck. What are your thoughts on that? Probably worth a mention, I think, but maybe I'm just overthinking the whole thing. Am I, or aren't I? Let me know. Right, I'm going to smash in the day, dogs to walk, and I've got to think about now making some bloody sauerkraut, because that stuff I've been buying is a waste of money and a waste of time. Check on a brother. I'm going to walk dogs. Actually, I'm going to get the weed snipper. I'm going to cut around the sheep because the electric fence is shorting out everywhere. Fantastic. I should be out fishing, but work to do. Have a cracker. See you in the next one. See you later.